Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about my lipstick. Actually, no, that's not what I'm going to talk about, but I thought it would be fun to mention what lipstick I'm wearing just because I wear a new one almost every single day, and maybe that's something you might like to know. So today I'm wearing Too Faced Melted Latex in the color Hot Mess. My first impression, even though I just put it on, my first impression is that it's an actual lipstick. So it's like a liquid to dry, or like usually they call it like a liquid to matte, but I think this one is like a liquid to gloss. It says it's a lipstick, but it applies more like a liquid lipstick. And I'm not sure if it dries, but it definitely looks like it stays shiny, hence the melted latex. And today, I really wanted to talk about Cure for the Fear of Failure, but I wanted to get a little bit more specific about what the fear of failure is and what it might look like. It may look like procrastination. Also, there's an awesome video about procrastination. I will link it below. But fear of failure may look like procrastination, it may look like indecision, it may look like paralysis, and it actually also may look like some forms of depression, which is like lethargy, tired, sleepy. It could also be sort of anxiety driven. It could bring out like anxieties, fears about the future. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way to cure the fear of failure, and I wanted to share some of those tips with you today. So that's what we're gonna do. The cure for the fear of failure, and it actually may look like the cure for non-action. I think that may be a more accurate term to use. The thing about it is it takes a lot of practice, and I guess practice and dedication to overcoming this fear. And what's really funny is like sometimes when we have this fear, we tend to not do a whole lot of things because obviously we're afraid. And the very thing that could cure that is by doing a whole lot of things, especially things that you're uncomfortable with. And so I really want to challenge you guys to kind of go outside of your comfort zone and do things that are uncomfortable, because that is the only way to develop this first item, which is self-confidence. It's also a really good way to develop the second item, which is trust. That's trust in yourself, trust in others, trust in the universe, trust that everything will work out. The more you do, the more you realize like everything really does work out. And then the third one is commitment. So there needs to be commitment, there needs to be follow through to overcoming this fear, and also to taking action on the things that you want to take action on. So let's break down self-confidence, because I actually think this is one of the most important things in life in general. So these aren't just to help you overcome your fear of taking action, but when you have a goal and a commitment that you want to overcome this fear, it will bleed into other areas of your life and it will help other areas. So I would say self-confidence is probably the number, or lack of self-confidence is probably the number one reason why you don't take action on things. Because if you believed in yourself and you were confident that you could do anything, then you would do anything, right? So developing self-confidence is a little bit difficult. It's challenging because there's so many different angles you can come at it, but I like to take action on things. So to me, self-confidence is about breaking down your beliefs about what you already think about yourself. And one of the best ways to do that is to challenge them. And the best way to challenge those beliefs is by taking action against them, or taking action with the intent to break them down, to prove yourself wrong, to prove your beliefs wrong. One of the most difficult parts about developing self-confidence in this way is identifying your belief patterns that kind of hold you back. So I would say putting yourself in these difficult situations, things that you wouldn't do normally, maybe the first step is taking note of the thoughts that go on either before, during, or after you take action on these new things. So pushing yourself really beyond the limits here. So let's say you're really comfortable going to yoga, but you're not very comfortable with like ball sports. Like maybe you sign up for a volleyball team. Maybe you work solo all the time and you don't really work that well in a team. So you volunteer to be a leader of a team or something like that. There's also smaller ways you can do this. You can do it by eating new foods, trying new foods, especially foods that you probably haven't tried since you were a little kid. You could do it by, one of the ways that I did it was by dating. So I dated a whole lot of people, and I'm probably going to do a post on this, or maybe, like I'm working on a book too, but I dated a whole lot of people who were like not my typical people that I would date. And in doing that, I was different with all of these different people. I got to try on different aspects of myself, and I also got to borrow aspects of other people that maybe either I had judged or I admired. And once I tried on these different aspects, my self-confidence that came from dating was knowing that even if it worked out, if it didn't work out, if it was a good date or if it was a bad date or whatever, the self-confidence came from just trying something new, really. Self-confidence, super important. The thing is like everything boils down to self-confidence. Talking to that girl, or that guy, going to interviewing for a job or position that is either like not in your realm or above you or whatever. Starting a new work project, starting something that you've always wanted to do. For example, like I'm going through a whole list of let's call it a bucket list, a whole list of things that I haven't done in my life that I've always wanted to do. And it's because like I have like confidence that I'll be able to do them. And if I'm not able to accomplish them, I know that something positive will come from the experience and it will help me with something else. So that's a great segue into our number 2, which is trust. This is trust in yourself and in others. Trust, there's like a few things that go along with trust. It's like being honest. So being able to honestly say why you do things and ask other people what they're doing and expect them to tell you the truth. A lot of trust comes from, like building trust comes from a really deep knowing and understanding of that self-confidence that everything will work out, and also just believing people, like not thinking the worst of them. Trust helps in overcoming the fear of taking action, because at the end of the day, that trust helps ground you in knowing that everything's going to be okay, even if you fail. So like, you look at the downside of failing, what's the worst that can happen? And so having that trust is just like, it's being able to say that like, yeah, maybe that person screwed me over in business. It might have been their intention, but I'm going to trust that it probably wasn't their intention, that they were just doing the best that they could do for themselves, and I have to do the best that I'm doing for me. Trust that everything will work out, everything will be fine. Trust is a really difficult thing to develop. You also develop it by taking action on things. Like all of these really go together pretty nicely, because the more you do, the more you realize that everything will be fine. I used to have a friend, actually no, I'm still friends with him, but I've been friends with him for over 10 years now, actually almost 10 years, and he was the first person in my entire life that I've ever come across that would say, like, why stress about anything? Everything will always work out. And I didn't understand, 8 years ago, I didn't understand, like, his mentality about, like, how everything worked out. He is a bit older than me. He's, like, 20 years older than me. And so he had more life experience at that time. And now I'm really getting it. Like, there's almost nothing that you can do wrong. If you take action and it goes terribly awful and it leaves you in a very uncomfortable place, you know that there's always a path to get back to where you were, because it's already been established. It's like trailblazing. So there's no reason to stress or worry or beat yourself up over decisions or anything. Like, the whole entire point of this life is to learn and to enjoy yourself. And you can't enjoy yourself if you're, like, sitting at home all the time watching TV because you're afraid to leave, or you're afraid to, like, go take that dance class, or you're afraid to move, or you're afraid to let something take you over that isn't you. And that is what this whole, like, life experience is about kind of like relinquishing your control of things, but doing what you want, taking action, and using your willpower to move forward. That is a very delicate dance, I would say. Okay, so the third thing is commitment. Commitment is really important. It's something that over the past year, I think that has really, I don't know how to say it, but like, I used to be a person who wouldn't commit. I think because I was afraid that I would fail. And whatever it is, whatever reason it is that you don't want to commit, if it's about your freedom, because maybe a fear of failure was one thing, but also I had a fear of freedom. Like, if I don't commit, then I'm free to do whatever I want. And when I had that mentality, I wasn't doing everything that I wanted anyways. So commitment has really helped me understand that all of these things could go wrong. I'm just going to put that in quotes. A lot of things can go poorly or badly, or maybe some roadblocks come up when you're trying to accomplish something. But if you're committed to that goal, you're open, you have your eye on that, and you're kind of open to a solution that hasn't revealed itself yet. And so everything that you're doing in the meantime, even if you fail at it, but you still have your eye on the end goal, everything you do is helping you get there. And it may not seem like it is at one point in time, especially when everything is going wrong. But if that's something that you really, really, really want and you're committed to getting it, then it just takes a little bit more time or a little bit more experiences or a little bit more of, like working through problems to get to that great solution. And then after you work through all of those problems, you realize that they all helped you get to where you wanted to go. And so that's one really cool thing about commitment and about journeys and about taking on new projects and doing things that you are uncomfortable with, because the more that you do it, the more you see this pattern. And the stronger your self-confidence gets, the stronger your trust gets, and the more enjoyable commitment becomes. So, anyways, that's my spiel on the overcoming the fear of taking action or the fear of failure. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments or questions below. I love to hear from you. And don't forget to ring the bell so you know when we post new content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.